Strictly Strings, Book 1, pages 9 and 10. Learning E and F sharp on the D string, and on the following page we'll learn the note G. Before we begin, notice some of the reminders. It indicates to place your fingers like the drawing, curve your fingers, touch the string with just the tip of your fingers, which requires us to have shorter fingernails, so make sure you've trimmed your nails. Keep the thumb relaxed. We don't want to clench the side of the neck. Keep fingers down on the string as much as possible, so when we play, you don't want to lift them back up unless you need to. Just keep it down as long as you can. And if you are a cello or a bass, there's another reminder to keep your thumb behind your second finger. So before we tune, let's review how we hold our instruments. For our left hand position, which we learned in a previous video, which if you're a cello or bass, you make a glass of water. And notice that the thumb and the second finger should be connected. So as we bring our hand into position, that thumb will be behind the second finger, and we want to round the fingers, keep the elbow lifted, cellos and bass. If you're a violin or viola, we want to position our instrument in a way where we are supported, hold our hand out like a stop sign, turn towards our face, bring it up and under. Thumb is across from the first finger, very important. Make sure it's relaxed. You can almost slide back and forth, relaxed. And each finger that goes down, we don't want to have any pancake. We want a nice straight wrist and just this nice relaxed shape, just like this. And if it's not quite right, start over. Stop sign, turn the hand, find where the instrument syncs up and the first finger is neatly across. And the fingers can go down on the tips and nice and curved. Let's tune our instrument. You can use your bow or pizzicato. Check your bow hold that you've been practicing. And you just want to see, does it sound mostly like mine? We're mostly playing on the D string, so that's the most important string to sound correct. So but let's check all the strings. So A string should sound like this. So I just played A, D, G, then I played a C for the violas and the cellos, and an E for the basses and the violins. Now, if you're noticing your instrument is out of tune, one tool you can use is to download an electronic tuner on your phone, or you can purchase something that looks like this kind of tuner. And when you turn it on, it will tell you if you are on the correct note, if it's high or if it's low. Now, this is an advanced skill to tune your instrument, so I recommend having either a professional, like at a music store, tune it for you in the early days, or if you're able to see me and meet with me, then I'm able to tune your instrument for you. Otherwise, if it sounds mostly like mine, then it's a good thing. But if it's, for instance, we're playing the D string and it's a little low, you just follow the string down to the fine tuner at the end, and you give it a righty-tighty, and that will make it go a little bit higher. Or if you're playing it and it sounds a little too high, we call that sharp. We take that fine tuner at the end and go lefty-loosey. Typically, strings go flat or low, and we need to bring them up higher again. But what I've noticed most in my teaching is that strings mostly stay in tune. If they're not in the hot weather, not in the cold weather, and they're just in a medium place, and they're well cared for, the string will just stay in its normal place for quite a long time. Maybe it will go a little off, but mostly it will stay pretty good. As we learn pages 9 and 10 today, I will cancel all the repeats. So I will only do each exercise once, but when you practice later, you should do each exercise 2 times. Set your bow down, you're not gonna need it. That will come later. It's fun to practice a little bit with it now, but we're only focusing on pizzicato. Page 9, number 1, we set a metronome to keep a steady beat and help us with our 4/4 time signature. And we are gonna see notes on the D string like D, E, and F sharp. So we wanna make sure we keep our finger directly on where the tape is located. And if you don't have tape, you have to use your ear to listen. Where is that note? Here we go, page 9, number 1. Each song 1 time, so we'll do this page with no repeats. Number 1, ready, go. Rest, rest. Number 2, ready, go. Number 3, ready, go. Number 4, ready, go. Number 5, ready, go. Okay, now we want to notice that we canceled the repeat signs. Normally you would do each song 2 times, but sometimes if you're in a hurry for practicing, you could say, I'm just going to do each one 1 time. It's okay to cancel a repeat every now and then, but technically when there is a repeat, you should play it twice. Notice in number 5, it said to prepare your fingers. Anytime a song starts with a note like F sharp, you want to have it ready ahead of time so that you're on the tips of your fingers. And so whether that is 3rd finger for cellos or for basses 4th finger, we all have our different fingers. We need to follow the finger number that it says in our book. Going on to number 6, hot cross buns, prepare your finger. This is a 2-line song, so we'll keep going for 2 lines and then end at the double bar line. So prepare, and a number 6, ready, go. All right, you got through all the D string notes. Good job, but there's going to be a little bit we add now. Go to page number 10. For violins and violas, now you're just simply adding a 3rd finger after that. You're just going down the string. For cellos, we're adding a 4th finger, so we're also just going on the string. But for basses, you're actually going over to a new string. So depending on your instrument, you have to make some adjustments to prepare. And again, there's some reminders, like get your fingers ready before playing. Be sure G is played with all 3 fingers down for violins, or for cellos, all 4 fingers down. Notice there's a marking for a whole step. So what we talk about in music is whenever there's a space between the fingers, it's a whole step. And when they're really close, it's a half step. So for cellos and bass, that looks a little different. Same for cellos and bass, and viola is more like violin. So the idea for this page is we are just adding 1 more finger or 1 more string for basses. And basses, it looks like you will also be adding a 1st finger on the G string that you need to look out for as well. So I'm gonna again cancel all the repeats for songs 1 through 6. We're gonna see if we can get used to reading these notes quickly. Prepare your instrument. Page 10, number 1. And a 1, 2, number 1. Number 2, ready, go. Number 3, prepare your fingers. Number 4, ready, go. Number 5, ready, go. number 6, ready, go. Good, rest your arm. So if any point of that you're getting tired, you can pause the video, relax your arm, shake it out, take a little break. Or if you notice you made a mistake, you can rewind and try that whole set again. Or you could turn off the video, pause it, and do each one twice with your own metronome. All great exercises and workouts for your fingers. And then we end with the final song number 7, Jolly Fellows. This one I will do 2 times. It's a really fun and catchy song. So let's try Jolly Fellows 2 times. Prepare your fingers ahead of time, set yourself up, and then we count a 1, 2, ready, go. All right, now if you want to be brave and try out a little bit with the bow, that's okay, but it's most important to learn one thing at a time. Make sure that your left hand is getting a good shape. Cellos and bass, you've got that glass of water shape. Violins and violas, we have our stop sign shape. We want a very good, well-formed left hand before we introduce the right hand too much. So if you're curious and you want to try it with the bow, go for it, but it's even better to practice with only pizzicato in the beginning. Happy practicing.